file, you have a database, and inside there you can be able to store information. You can be able to store things that will enable you have anything displaying on your website. Now, whatever that is displaying on your website is using through the medium of your domain name, but where the thing is displaying from is what you have saved in your web server. So whenever you click on your domain name, it takes you directly to your web server. Now let's go to the next thing: difference between a domain name and a URL. I'm trying to point out things you need to know. A domain name and a universal resource locator. Now, universal resource locator is known as URL. URL is universal resource locator. Now take note of that. There are difference between a domain name and a URL. They share some little similarity, but that does not mean they are the same, but rather they are different. A URL acts as a complete web address that can direct visitor to a specific page on a website, while a domain name is just part of it. Now, a URL consists of a protocol, domain, and path. The protocol shows whether a site has an SSL certificate. Note that URL have a path only when they direct visitor to a specific page on a website. Now, what this thing simply means is, let me just do a quick explanation on a URL and a domain name. So let me find okay, for instance, this is a site I actually built for someone, and now this is your domain name. Take note, this is your domain name. Now if I want to enter a URL, I'll just put, I'm going directly to a particular place. You see, I'm going directly to a particular place. Now you can see this is a URL. You see, it takes me specifically to where I want to go. Now many of you, those of you who do school portals, people will just come and say, okay, instead of you going to find things on the site, just put this URL, click it. The moment you just click it, it's taking you directly to where you want to do, either register, where you want to make payment, or what you want to see. It will just take you directly to that place. For instance, somebody did a research on Google, and for you to get that to that place, you need to first of all click. Now let me show you. I have to click. If I want to do it manually, I have to click, then click on our contestant, you see. But now through the help of the URL, I just paste it and I entered it. It takes me directly to where I want to go. So that's the work of a URL. Don't forget, they say a URL consists of a protocol, and it doesn't have effect until it takes you to a particular place. Now, to a specific page or on a site. But a domain name is just part of it. It's just all of it. But once it's taking you to a specific part in a domain name, that means it's known as the URL. So let's continue. The next thing I want you should take note of is, what is a web hosting? Now that is where the question lies. A web hosting is a server. It's a type of internet hosting server that hosts websites for clients. It offers the facilitative requirements for them to create and maintain a site and make it accessible on the World Wide Web. So if you don't have a web hosting, it can't show on the World Wide Web. So you have to be very certain about you getting a domain name and also getting a web hosting. Those people who get domain name and web hosting, domain name, are known as domain registrars. You are not the one giving you the domain name, but rather you have to register, you have to pay for your domain name before you can be able to get it. So you need to take note of all of this. Now it will make sense, but once we start doing the practical, you will now understand, oh, this is a domain name and this is also a hosting. Now, what is a cPanel? Now, the moment you are able to get a domain name and get a web hosting, there will be a provision for you to have your cPanel's login. What is a cPanel? A cPanel, the C there represents control panel. Now, the cPanel helps you to control your website. Now there you find the details about the website, what you have to build. You have the access to the website, and there you determine whether you want to use programming language, WordPress. There you determine a lot of stuff. There you see your file. There you can have an add-on domain. There you have a whole lot of stuff. That is where you can customize your email on the cPanel portal. You can't do that when you don't have a cPanel. A cPanel is a web hosting control panel, software development by cPanel LLC. It provides a graphical interface and automation tools designed to simplify the process of hosting a website to the website owner or the end user. We are the end user. Whenever you buy a domain name and a hosting, you are the end user. You determine what happens on the World Wide Web. You determine what happens, what people see. You determine everything. Once you have access to someone's control panel, you can bring down his site. Once you have access to somebody's control panel, you can manipulate it the way you want. So control panel should be kept safe, just like your login for any other account that has to do with security. Now, that is all you need to know about cPanel. But once we go into the tutorial fully, you will get to understand what cPanel simply means. Now, here comes to what we'll be starting with, the WordPress. Now, the ability for us to have a cPanel will determine what software or what application we'll be using to design our website. So I'm just introducing you the first software we'll be using or application is known as the WordPress. A WordPress is a powerful site builder and contains management system, which is CMS, aimed to make it possible for anyone to create an online presence in a minute without reading or writing any programming language or code. Now, I love WordPress because WordPress enables even a beginner to understand how to create a website in just a minute. Now, WordPress gives you leverage for you to create a website without even writing any programming languages. So WordPress is unique in its own way because I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's unique in its own way. It depends on who is using it. But some top organization that has a understanding on web development, they would like to use programming languages to do their websites, maybe when you want to build a site from scratch. But WordPress gives you the ability to make use of templates, already made sites, already made template. Then you just buy it and make use of it. Don't forget, you have to buy it. People are there who design this site from scratch. Yours is just to buy it and edit. Let me explain what a WordPress simply means. Now, I go to buy a phone and I already go to buy a already made phone. There are differences between when you buy a manufactured phone by your name or already made phone. Whatever you see in that phone is there. You can't change it beyond what is there. You can only change the pouch, the screen guard, you can change a whole lot of stuff on the phone, but the phone still remains the phone. But when you are using a programming language to design a website, it's as if you went to the manufacturer and you are saying, okay, I want this kind of pouch. I don't want the phone to be straight, I want it to be short. I don't want the phone to be big, I want it to be slim. I don't want the phone, I don't want this phone to have this kind of battery, rather let it have this kind of battery. But when you are using a WordPress site, you can't determine that because they have already used a slim, they have already used a big battery to do it. You just have to go with what is there. Now let me take you to the key features of WordPress site. Now the key features you need to know is WordPress is a software for everyone. Everyone can use WordPress freely. Now, even a beginner, somebody who just entered into web development can make use of WordPress. Number two, WordPress is free to use and modify. Now, WordPress is like I said, it's very free to use. It's already modified, it's already upgraded. It's very easy. Anyone can use it for the fact you know how to read. Now, WordPress works for all users. Now, whether you're a programmer, whatever you want to be, whatever you are, WordPress can work for you. WordPress works for all users. Everybody can make use of it. WordPress is flexible. Now, what this simply means is WordPress is easy to use. It's as simple as ABCD. So it's very flexible. It's not complicated like programming language and all of that. Bootstrap, JavaScript, CSS, and it's not complicated like that. It's very simple, very easy. You don't need to write any code for you to use it. And lastly, how do I get a domain name? A domain name can be gotten from different sites. I told you a domain name can be gotten from a domain registrar. Even also, those people who provide you a domain name can also provide you a hosting. So domain name can be gotten from Namecheap, GoDaddy, Domain Kings. You see all of this. You can get your domain.com. You see name Silo. There are a whole lot of domain registrars that you can be able to get your domain name from. So on this class, you'll be getting the knowledge of how to get your domain name, how to get your hosting, and how to get a whole lot of stuff. Thank you, and see you in the next class. I remain Ultimate Concept, your teacher.